Hey y'all, this is Lashad from Scarlet Moon Creations. I am back with a new video. This is a tag video. I was not tagged, but I'm doing it anyway because it's that type of tag. It's the My Magical YouTube Journey tag. So this tag was created by Starlight the Wild Witch. I believe she had a different YouTube name. I'm not exactly sure when she changed it, but link in the description to her original video. This tag is 25 questions, so I'm gonna jump into it. Before the questions, though, forget jumping into it, right? My usual summertime disclaimers. I don't know why I call them disclaimers. It is what it is. You have to deal with it if you watch the video. If not, click out. Summertime. It is September, yes, but New York City, I'm on the main street, my window is open, my fan is on. You might hear ambient noises. I'll edit out what I can. Please deal with the rest. Now, I watched quite a few videos because I started getting into it. First question, what is your channel name and the significance of it or behind it? My channel name is Scarlet Moon Creations. Welcome, hello. Let me read what I wrote. I have my divination journal. I decided to write it in here since it's new and I have space. Scarlet Moon Creations. It is the name of my Etsy shop and my Instagram and the blog that I had that I no longer write on. It spawned from that naming. I was in a group here in New York City, an open pagan group, and we did rituals and stuff, and there were classes and degrees and all of that, yet not a coven, an open group. And at one point we were required to create a magical name even though I didn't want to, and I struggled. I came up with one eventually. This is not that magical name, but that magical name had moon in it, and I spawned this one, kind of inspired by it. This Etsy shop, link in the description, came from that. And the original purpose of my channel was to kind of funnel people towards my Etsy shop. Not saying that I don't have that somewhat intent there. If you want to go, the link is in the description, but that's not the main point. It's down there on the list. I have a reel which I guess I can put up to explain what Scarlet Moon Creations means. I post it because again, on my Instagram I have sales during the blood moon or the red moon, really, or aka the scarlet moon, because it goes with my shop name. It's like passionately creating under the moon. In that sense, the red moon happens during a lunar eclipse. The sun goes behind the earth and you get that reddish hue on the moon for a little bit, that kind of thing. It happens roughly twice a year, so that's when I have the sales. My favorite color happens to be red, usually, and that's what color my walls are. This is not a facade. That's my thing. That passion, that drive, that willpower, that creative energy is what drives my shop, and that was tied to this. So there is somewhat of that still, because shop aside, creating videos is a creative endeavor. The filming, the editing, the posting, and the thumbnail, and the sharing, and all of that stuff, if that matters to you. And then the content within the video. Hey, what type of content do I create? I have 4 main categories. The recent reads, decks and divination, land with me's, and then witchcraft and paganism. I also have vlogs that are that can fit into any of the content. So I say it like this because I know that Starlight had like different ideas of categories. I have some DIYs, and that is either in witchcraft and paganism or decks and divination. They fall into there. Like I mentioned, I do have the vlogs. I don't do them very often because to I used to, and it was too much. And we'll come to that in another question. I love vlogs. I love watching vlogs. I like filming vlogs. Editing vlogs is a pain in the ass, especially when I have other content that's like pre-filmed. Like it's just one long clip. I'm just cutting out stuff, not piecing together clips into some sort of attempt at aesthetics. So it's just harder. It takes more work and it takes way more time, and I wind up putting them off a lot. So I have vlogs here and there because I can't get away from them. I do enjoy filming them. And there will be more to come, but those are ones that I filmed a while ago. So with that, the recent reads are bookish content, and they're not necessarily witchcraft or pagan related, though at least once a month there is at least one or two books, whether nonfiction or fiction, in there. And I'm just talking about the books I've read the month. I can't be held to a specific date, so I call them recent reads rather than monthly wrap-ups or anything like that. So what have I read recently? And I just talk about them because I love reading. So that's book 2, basically. Decks and divination is me talking about decks that I bought. I don't constantly haul or have new decks. Like, I can go years without buying new decks, so it's not like walkthroughs all the time. I'm doing deck studies where I'm, slowly going through the decks that I have or I've gotten recently and doing an in-depth study for me to figure out how I think that deck is different from the other ones and how I see them, how I would work with them, and that kind of thing. So that's kind of like tarot tube stuff, if we're being niche. And the tags with tarot tube are various friends and community tags and things like that, like similar to this video. I'll do those because they're fun. And I do the ones that I can because a lot of them seem to be geared more towards people with bigger collections. And with me, this is what I started out with. That's a really general term for planning, bullet journaling, divination journaling, that kind of thing. A thing that I, again, really, really enjoy, and those are more top-down view things, as are a lot of the deck and divination videos. Showing you my journal from the previous month that helps keep me on track for my business, but also with videos and life in general. Having something that's not screen related other than filming and editing, but like what I'm doing is pen and paper and stickers and drawing, painting, that kind of thing. The witchcraft and paganism, I haven't done as many of these recently, and that might change because I've been watching a lot of this tag, and so people have been inspiring me to get back to more of that. I was doing the YouTube Pagans ABC challenge in the beginning of my channel. I made it up to letter S. I'm gonna tell you, if I start again, T is gonna be tarot, so be prepared for that. Sometimes sharing some herbalism things. I'm not really into doing witchcraft 101 type things. Honestly, I fell off with that because I wasn't sure what I wanted to do, and this is too long on one question. 3, what inspired me to start my channel, my business? I mentioned that. The need to have content to entice people to come to my shop is what inspired it. And then, like, like many other things, anyone with a camera can do YouTube. And this is true. Nothing is stopping you from doing it, especially since everybody's phone has a camera now. The camera might not be the best, but it has the camera, and you can upload. YouTube will not stop you. And also, like, planning, bullet journaling is where I felt most comfortable. Again, getting my life together, being on top of my business, and that's where the bullet journaling came into play. The need to share as well as what inspired me. I had a Tumblr once upon a time, and that was the first time I ever had like a journal. So this channel has sort of become more me just sharing things that I like. I'm okay with that. Finding community and friends for things that I don't have really in real life. Not that this isn't real life, but with people in person. So wanting to be consistent with my practices, with my witchcraft, and with my business again, and like having to film and upload and put up a video, edit it, all of that makes me do the thing that I'm filming. So it's sort of an accountability, but also a journal, something I can look back on. Like, we call them vlogs for a reason. Video log. A log is like, what have you done? And these are not all vlogs, but they are sort of an accounting for me. The Tumblr, I guess, kind of got replaced by this. I mean, Tumblr was going through some things. But yeah, it still exists, but I don't post on it. And I did share way more personal things. It wasn't on purpose that I haven't been as in depth here. It's just a different part of my brain working, I think, and not considering, and then being influenced by what I've seen, because I've watched YouTube way longer. How long have you been a YouTube content creator? So 6 years, August 31st. I did have a whole celebratory live for my 7th YouTube anniversary, and I talked in the beginning about how I can't count. So you can go watch that. I was including the day I started as the first year somehow, but it's fine. 6 years on YouTube, creating all kinds of content. And it's so funny, when I was preparing for that video, I came across this tag for the 3rd time without the clickbaity title, and I was like, oh. And then I looked at Starlight, the Wild Witches playlist, and I saw those other 2 videos, and I was like, huh. And so while I was preparing for the live, I was watching these videos, and I was like, oh, maybe I should do this tag as like a sort of celebration for my anniversary. So here we are. 5. What are my hobbies outside of my channel? Do I have hobbies outside of my channel? Because I feel like, to an extent, my biggest hobbies, the hobbies that I have that are regular, are ones that I share on this channel. Like, I'm instantly like, oh yeah, I want to share with people this thing that I'm doing. The herbalism, getting to know herbs, and going out, and now volunteering at a foodway. Now I have Garden Arcana, that series where you connect the tarot with your garden. I'm doing that, and that's 2 hobbies. I didn't really share the gardening aspect before, but now it's here. But yeah, the dancing, I just don't feel too comfortable sharing that online. It's a major hobby. I love it. I guess singing, listening to music. I will talk about whatever music is currently embedded in my brain if it happens with a vlog. Like, I'm filming this, V's Layover came out, and wait to listen to that before bed. Visiting parks and museums. I share more of that on Facebook and Instagram, but only a little bit. Hanging out with friends. That doesn't show up here, really. Unless they show up in vlogs, which I haven't done in a while. So, 6, is there a new style of content that you want to try? Yeah. I'm always like, ooh, I want to try this. Ooh, I want to try that. I will always want to go back to vlogs. And I watched, before I pressed play, I was getting everything all set up. Beanbag Hagwag, whose channel I've heard about, but I hadn't gotten a chance to watch. And I watched her do this tag, and I also watched her August vlog, and now I'm like so inspired now. Don't do it, Lachette, unless you... This tag has me thinking about getting back to my witchy content, which I've mentioned. Herbal studies. I have a video that I filmed like 2 years ago that will be a good intro to that. The Garden Arcana really has me like, oh, people might like this. Trying various magic and spells. I've always had this idea because honestly I see it all over. It doesn't matter if we're talking about YouTube, Instagram, TikToks, even though I'm not on TikTok, Twitter, whatever. And people are always talking about like the face they have to show the world. Everything has to look a certain way and be a certain way. These are all, with the exception of Twitter, but it's different. Instagram and YouTube are visual media, and so things that are more aesthetically pleasing do better. And that's just the way these things are. Also, you know, it's just a snapshot of people's life. And that's all social media. So we have this perception, and then you kind of feel bad if yours doesn't look as great, even if you're not putting it out there. And you also, on the other hand, at least I do, want to know more. Like, okay, so how do you do that and then work? Or how do you do that and then your laundry? Like, how does this fit in your house with your kids, right? But how do you do your taxes if you are a content creator? These people don't have to share these things, but the questions occur to me, right? And I know they occur to others because I see things, and it's just like, just because you have the question doesn't mean it's okay for you to ask, or it definitely doesn't mean they have to tell you. But I'm getting off track. I kind of want to show the messy side of things. Like, my altar is what it is. Do I do rituals every day? Hell no. Do I do rituals for every holiday at home? No. No, I don't. Do I go through all the steps every time? No. Do I always know what the hell I'm doing? Hell no. And I kind of want to always was thinking, like, you know, instead of aesthetic, let's show the mess. When I spill, you know, a whole bunch of lavender flowers all over the floor that I paid for, and now I have to throw out because I can't sell that to people. I can't put that in stuff and have people buy it. Like, maybe someone else could, but I don't have the... my conscience will not let me. I already feel like shit because I spilled it. This has happened. I don't even like the smell of lavender, and now my floor smells like lavender, and I want to throw a temper tantrum because it's a fucking mess. So, like that. Because why not? Guided meditations are another thing I thought about. I used to do them offline and have gotten lots of compliments, so maybe themed reading I'm gonna attempt to do that this year. I have an idea for a witchy vlog or two. I don't have it fully fleshed out. I have like a list of 50 books, and that's ridiculous. But there's no way I'm gonna read all of those for the rest of the year, and all the other books I already talked about in my mid-year wrap tag. But we'll see what happens. Pagan book reviews, I did do those. I called them, what is it? Magical Librarian. That was a thing, again, at that open group. I had a project I was supposed to do, and I made a website called The Magical Librarian, and then did nothing with it. I gathered some book reviews for myself and others, and that was it. Maybe I'll revive that a little bit. I did somewhat on this channel in the beginning, and then stopped. Live tarot journaling. This is from kind of like the plan with me, journal with me type of thing. Productivity sprints. I know lots of us are like, oh, I can't keep up a journal, and maybe if somebody goes live, like, hey, I'm doing this, why don't you join me in doing that too? Other live content, maybe morning reading sprints. A lot of people do it after work. I work from home, and I also have boundary issues when it comes to reading, so I will go to sleep and then wake right up and continue reading. Would I want to do that live? Maybe. Would people be interested? Maybe. Morning routines live. Again, I mentioned earlier, I often use making the videos as the push to get me to do the thing that's going to be in the video. And I fall off my morning routine, usually because of mental health reasons. And if I'm gonna be live, and I said I would definitely do it because other people are watching me. Maybe not the best impetus, but it's what I got. So those are some ideas. If you like any of them, mention them in the comments below. Will I do all of them? Probably not. That's too much new things. How do I plan out my content? So I'll show a bit on screen, I guess. Mostly I use Google Calendar and OneNote. I sometimes use my bullet journal and my divination journal. Like, I'm using my divination journal now. I have the questions and my answers written out in it for the most part. I go back and forth between digital and analog is the main point. Definitely always use my Google Calendar just to keep track of what, you know what, I'm saying that and I don't remember the last time I posted scheduled YouTube. So sometimes. OneNote, I have this whole called notebooks, hello. And I have a Scarlet Moon Creations one. And in it, I have a section called YouTube. And it's been really helpful. I fall off sometimes in using it and me planning out my videos. Like, I'll have a list of videos for the year, some monthly ideas of like what I should be posting, because I have certain videos I need to post monthly. Like the recent reads, they're twice a month. I know they're coming through them. Plan with me's or journal with me's are usually once a month, so I know it's coming. There's the monthly update basically. And the others I kind of fit in where they should go, and I have the ability to check off what I've done. And the part that I fall off on, depending on the year or the season, is like pages for each video. So I'll write down notes, things I want to say, or links I need to include, though that doesn't always happen. Like this one, I have the list of questions, or the tag was originally by. I also have this divination journal notebook where I have a lot of stuff, but I have tag videos that are related to divination and decks and things like that. So tarot too, basically. So that helps me like put down details, plans, or whatever. And if I am going to film it, I put the a little camera emoji next to the title. If I filmed it and it needs to be edited, I put like that note, paper and pencil emoji next to it. And if it's done and uploaded, I put a check mark. So I know that idea, that tag, that video is done. Some I have, like, I've done this over and over, and the same content is basically in the description every time. I'll keep that in there. So that's that. What are my tools of the trade? Okay, so I've got for a camera, I use the Samsung S21, which is pretty much just for that. Filming, taking pictures, and editing. Or in uploading, I guess, to either YouTube or social media. It's not like I don't use the internet or whatever, but my point is I don't have it connected to a service. Like, I can only use it if I have Wi-Fi. This was given to me, someone passed away and they didn't need it, so their family gave it to me. Sometimes, well, for lives, I use most of the time. I don't do lives very often, but I use my webcam on my laptop. If I'm not showing my face, I'll use the phone. And StreamYard, I use StreamYard for film, for live streaming. Again, I don't do that very often. Ring light. Mainly, I use sunlight because I'm a black woman and natural light is best. But I do have a ring light that actually was given to me as a gift. This guy here. And it's really cheap. It comes with a stand, which I'm currently using. So, but it's a short stand I have on top of a bunch of books. But I like that instead of having to fold up the longer one that I have. Stand tripod is what I mean. I have two other tripods. One is really old and giving me trouble because it's not standing up straight anymore. The Calamar, again, I got this on eBay. I'll put a link in the description to everything. Also, I got this new one from Phoenix, which is really great, but I haven't really used it because I'm missing this piece. Again, it was used. I did not buy it. It was given to me, and they didn't realize. So it is what it is. I have all kinds of other arm thingies that hold my phone. For editing software, I use Filmora Go on my phone for free, except for this year because your girl is one of those get 3 days of premium for free, and then after that you pay $19.99 for a whole year, and I did not unsubscribe or whatever before the third day like I should have, and so I got the premium for the year, and I'm using it. One of the benefits is you can export 1080p, actually higher, but I don't want to use more than 1080p because I know my quality is going to go back down to 720 after this year unless things change. So that's on my phone. Everything is not filmed on my phone because as great as it is, even the free option for Filmora Go is great. There is a desktop version of Filmora, but you have to pay for it. Some things are really irritating to do on such a small screen, so hence all my recent reads videos. So on my desktop, I use the free software Lightworks, and it updates periodically. It's pretty good for free. Sorry, I also use that ring light box as a stand for my fan. It is hot as hell. For things like reels or shorts, which I don't do very often, I sometimes use the Filmora Go, but sometimes I'll use Quick, which also I use for vlogs. It's kind of a lazy way to do it because it will put all the clips together for you and add music, and you don't have to think about it. I don't always love the results, but I like them, and so and quite often it's not something I need to put that much thought into. So Quick is fine. And another free app on my phone. It's better when it's shorter, but like reels or shorts. But for longer vlogs, which I put on my channel, it's not so bad. For thumbnails, I use Canva. Doesn't everybody? There's a free option. There is a paid option. Though the premium, they offer me free premium every 3 months. So sometimes if I need it, I get it. It's not that bad. I also, in addition, use PixArt for, again, the recent reads to get all of those books. I use PixArt. Let me see. The lighting, like I said, sunlight, it's a thing. The quality of filming does go down when it gets dark, and I know a lot of people know that. Cameras are not that great with darkness. Yeah, especially if we're talking about indoors. But yeah, artificial lighting and all of that stuff. I'm not there yet, y'all. The ring light helps on like cloudy days. And there are people darker than me in this world, right? It's too dark. I am unseen, and the video quality is lower at night, so I just try not to. This spot is really great because the window is directly opposite, and if I film during the morning hours, the sunlight is coming directly at me. So there are some videos out there with where I am like effervescent. What's the word I'm looking for? Day glow. Yeah, I just avoid as much as I can filming at night. The ring light is more for like meetings where it's like twilight and getting darker and stuff like that. 9, as a content creator, do you experience burnout? If so, what does that look like for you and how do you recover? I do. Usually I'm either overwhelmed with everything in life, or sometimes I just get really down about why I'm doing this filming, and it doesn't make me any money, it doesn't get people to my shop, no one's watching, I don't post anything that brings people to my shop anyway. What is the purpose? I don't like editing. Sometimes I hate it though, and so I will put videos off, the vlogs, and then I feel bad. I'm like, no, I have to put this up, so anything else I film will just not do. I won't film, or I won't post it because I haven't done the vlog yet, and that is a reason why I don't do vlogs. And I'm like, they hem me up too much emotionally and mentally, and it's not that serious. It's one of those things, or I need a break. Is the universe telling me I need a break, or I have to focus on something else outside of YouTube, and so that's where my energy goes. Honestly, I just walk away. It would be nice if I planned, like YouTube vacations or social media vacations, but I don't. It's like I get to whatever wall, and then I'm just like, I don't want to even look at this anymore. Or I overthink and stress myself out, and then analysis paralysis happens. 10, which video are you most proud of and why? It took some thinking, but then things just started jumping. So do you have that card challenge? I made 2 videos, the original and then like a beginner version. I filmed these like a year before I uploaded them. Part of it was the whole thing with the vlogs, but another portion was, oh shit, well now it's too late. The people that I thought would watch this are not interested anymore. It was, inspired by a booktube challenge that's similar but with books. And there was a tower readathon going on, and then it was over, and people who read are moving on to other books, other challenges, or whatever. And I'm like, no one's gonna watch this. So it sat on my computer for a year. I forgot about it, and then I was looking, and I was like, you know what, Lisha, just post this fucking thing. Like, you filmed it. You filmed all of these clips for 2 videos. Post them. And I did, and they're not like, oh, the most popular videos I have by far, but they are good, and I met a lot of great people thanks to them, and several people did the challenges, both of them. Some people did both. I had beginner people do them, and I did wind up sharing them in the group because the Tower Readathon came around again, and it was just like, hey guys, I did this thing if you want to check it out. So I'm just proud because I posted it, even though it was a year later. The Garden Arcana series I'm doing now, I'm having so much fun. I'm learning a lot. Plants and tarot together. Loving it. And I'm doing it at my pace. The originators did one a week, and I didn't know we were going to be doing that. And I was like, Lisha, you could fit this in, even though this is out of left field. Not your plan for the year, but you could fit this in if you do one a month. And, things will still be growing 7 months later. And that was a good decision, because I could have burned myself out and we wouldn't be here where we are right now if I did that. Lastly, I guess my old Witchathon vlogs, this is witchy and bookish related. Someone who's no longer on YouTube, they had readathon, which is like, for this amount of time we're going to read books that fit these prompts. And this was a fellow witch, and they did prompts for each of the seasons for the most part. More Wiccan leading than anything else, but they were appropriate prompts. And finding books and then reading those books was fun. This was before I was like doing 2 videos a month at least, if not more, about books. So it was just totally fun times. Love those. 11. Who inspires you within the magical pagan YouTube community? I don't watch a lot of magical or pagan YouTube videos in general. I think because my in person in real life, people I know, pagan, witchy, magical, even occult community is pretty big and active. Like, some of my best friends are fellow witches. I am in an active coven, and we meet regularly to celebrate. And one of the things is about being in the coven that I love is I have people that I could be totally open with about magic I'm doing, spiritual practices, all of that stuff. So there's that. That includes my 2 best friends. I have other people that I've met along the way in my spiritual path and my magical path, that our paths did not, stay the same, but we're still friends and we can still discuss things. And, they'll post things online and I'll post things online, and we comment on each other's stuff. There are lots of people I've met in the magical business communities. Again, occult, magic, witchcraft, paganism, even African diasporic traditions and folkloric traditions. People who I can talk to about having a pagan business. Like, we have that in common, and these are people I don't I don't look for that on YouTube. I never really have. Um, if I look for things, it's something particularly specific, and I'll search. And so there's a couple of people I follow, but I don't watch the majority of their videos. I watch stuff every now and then, and the fact that I watch multiple videos is why I subscribe, but it's not everything. And yeah, so all of that being said, right, who inspires me? Um, the Witch's Cookery and the Green Witch, two huge channels, particularly the Green Witch. Aesthetically, I love their videos. And not to say that this is not the case with everybody else, it's just the bar is high with the Green Witch. Like, she's a professional photographer outside of the witchcraft thing. And to be honest, like, she has the privilege of living where she lives and doing what she does. And I know she's moved a couple of times, but you know. The Witch's Cookery, somewhat the same. These are people who can make this their life, their living, to some extent. Just their styles of recording and filming is inspiring, and they're also very calming, which I think the other people I'll mention have similarly. Making this list, I realized, like, that's what I'm drawn to. Like, people, I guess, we're talking about, like, pagan and magic, occult, who have, like, a calm vibe in their videos. Not just them, but, like, the style. Anyway, Jessica and the Moon used to be Jessica and the Story Witch. Having similar interests, being a friendly person, and just, I like that vibe. She's in Wales, and my tradition is Welsh, so there's a little bit of that connection as well. The Afura Nefertiti, the writing witch, I did take lessons from her. But as for inspiration, there is some journaling inspiration, but also like working with the seasons in a modern sense. I like that. Again, a calm vibe to her videos. I view the occult witch as a new influence. I like seeing more advanced things. I guess these all kind of have that in common to an extent. Like, I mean, Witch's Cookery does some beginner things. As a Wiccan, the occult has a bigger influence in my practice than probably the traditional witch or a folk witch. So these things are there in my coven traditions and things like that, and you know, we can all thank Gerald Gardner. Also, Thorn Mooney for just being herself and like a fellow Wiccan high priestess. Are there channels you would recommend? Definitely. I mean, obviously the Witch's Cookery and the Green Witch if you haven't come across them. But Afura Nefertiti, the writing witch. Thorn Mooney, who is a Gardnerian high priestess and an author. So she talks about these things sometimes, right? YouTube is not like a job for her when she gets around to it. So I also appreciate that. Like, you don't have to post every day or every week or every month. Jessica and the Moon, there's a lot of astrology, tarot, and just personal practices, family practices, Welsh native influences. Annabelle Wen, more tarot leaning, but, and this is, like, she has her personal practices which influence her thinking, but also from her culture, but also her tarot and her books as well. Candy Soul and Soil is relatively new to me. Like, I watched some of her videos and I just love the vibe. It's very creative. I love that. I love that. And then the Garden Arcana, she and someone else, Thea from Garden Goddess Tarot, created that tag. I love it. Candy is also someone I'd be like, you know what, everything is not together and that's okay. Sometimes there's a mess and that's okay. So check her out. Leilani from Magical Solution. So this is more of a podcast, but I love Leilani. And the thing is, I know her from being in real life. We're not like best buddies. She probably won't remember me. We've only met a couple of times, and usually in like settings where there's a lot of people. But of her vibe, being somewhat local, she's upstate. I'm here in the city, and being Hispanic, speaking on things like espiritismo. I always trip over this, espiritismo, and African diasporic traditions, and talking to other pagans and occultists, people with various cultures that are not one of the big three, I guess. Yeah. 13. Do you believe there are misconceptions about being a magical or pagan YouTuber? I mean, off the top, like, and I've been here probably, like, oh, it's all about aesthetics and they're fake, they're trying to con people, they don't really know what they're doing, young, dumb, and I think that's how most people see pagans on the internet, especially social media, where it's just like, well, if you're sharing your practice or trying to show people things online, that's not real. On the other hand, there are those, and this is just me witnessing, so people who want to believe so bad that they feel like these people are untouchable and that they know everything and they are gurus, that they have ascended somehow. That's not the case either. And I think that's important to know. I'll get more into that in another question. We don't know it all. They don't know it all. I don't know it all. And I'm kind of talking to my younger self in the beginning of my channel with that one. I think another misconception is that everybody is trying to teach others. When I'm going to go back to the definition of a vlog, a video vlog, which is like a video diary. Some people are just here to put stuff up to remember. And I think that's where I'm leaning. Can you take from that? Can we have discussions about it? Can you be influenced and inspired? Sure. But I am not your high priestess. So I have no interest in telling other people how they're supposed to be doing stuff. Now, if you want to pay me to be your spiritual counselor, maybe we can discuss things. 14. What do you like or dislike about being on YouTube? Let's get the dislikes out of the way. The main one is the need to feel seen comes. For those who have somehow avoided it, lucky you. This is not just YouTube, it's social media. Like, you're not getting likes. How do you know people are seeing? If you're not getting enough views, then people don't really care, do they? If they're not staying and watching your whole video, what was the point? But I can post and just leave them private, or I can post and just never come back to it. But part of it is, even if you're just here to you want to make friends or you want to be part of a community, it's hard to do that if it seems like everybody is ignoring you. Nobody's looking. I hate that feeling. I don't like that aspect. I feel it's greater on YouTube because of video rather than one picture or a bunch of pictures or short videos, right? Like, you can't be bothered to listen to everything I have to say. I hate that it impacts like self-esteem. I hate that. I like that it's a visual medium, but I also hate that it's a visual medium because that means everything, the better things look, the more aesthetic, the better. And yes, anyone can join YouTube. You don't have to have a great camera. You don't have to have great film quality and best audio and, you know, aesthetic scenes and whatnot, and lots of transitions and B-roll and all of that stuff. But all of that helps because it is a visual medium, especially in a time where people have shorter attention spans. Thank you, TikTok and social media in general. Like, so you want the transitions and the B-roll to keep their attention. And you want, you know, the aesthetics because, ooh, people like to see pretty things, right? You have to have, you want to have a good thumbnail because people will be attracted and will click. And, like, I like watching them, but it's also frustrating when, you know, you want to have good quality because otherwise people are, like, frustrated with watching lower quality videos or not be able to hear you, or it's the catch-22, right? I dislike that YouTube makes people jump through hoops to make this a living. Like, there should be some boundaries. You don't want every Tom, Dick, and Harry being an asshole, and, you know, things like kids shouldn't see certain things and other people blah 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 blah. But it's also like, on no social media channel can you just be there and make a living. You have to have a Patreon. You have to have an Etsy shop. This, you know, you have to funnel people somewhere else, and then they penalize you for taking them away from their things I like. You can sit down and talk to the camera. It is a creative outlet, which I like. That helps quite often. I don't love editing, but I love the results. And if I could have more time in the world, then I would probably do more things with editing. If I had more money, I could probably do more things with editing, but it is what it is. The sky is the limit with how you present things, and I love that. We don't have to follow each other. We can, and that's fine too. But like, so many different avenues, ways of editing, of talking. Like, you can post videos and it'll just be audio only. There are people who post videos and it's just like you never see them. It's like animated things, and I'm just like, how do you do that? I'm not doing that, but how do you do that? That's cool. For a visual video seemingly medium, like, I've seen stop motion and claymation and obviously slideshows and just all kinds of things, and that's awesome. I like that. It's free. That's a great thing. Like, again, we back to anybody can upload. Go, you can. There's a way to be inspired here is also another thing that I really like. What are some of the challenges and struggles I face creating on this platform, and how do I overcome them? Do I overcome them? Imposter syndrome. Like, what am I doing? What was it earlier? Why am I doing this? if no one is watching, I should get a real job. I don't post anything that anybody wants to go watch. I don't post anything that sends people to my Etsy shop. Like, I don't like editing, so what the hell am I doing? Duh. I don't have money for this. Like, these people do it better. I don't know what I'm talking about. That's a thing, and that's why I think I kind of leaned away from the witchcraft and paganism videos, because they were amongst my lowest views to this day, and it's like, well, nobody cares, and clearly I don't know what I'm talking about, so I should just shut up. The editing thing, it's so frustrating. Editing will piss me off, and then I will not post. It's a struggle bus. Right now has been the smoothest between the Filmora Go and Lightworks, but let me tell you, it's not always the case, even with these two. Like, definitely space, having the space on my laptop and my phone for the pictures. Honestly, I need to stop filming everything, but it's just, I don't have the energy, the bandwidth to edit as much as I do to film. And so editing could not keep up with filming. Not having the money is a struggle, or the time is a struggle. Like, some things I could have better software. I don't have the money for it. Like, you're talking about $19.99 for the premium for Filmora Go, and we're like, oh, it's just $20. Like, yeah, it's $20, and I ain't got it every year. Every year, yes, I said it. So I could maybe plan to have it at a certain time of year, but it's like there's something else I need to be paying for, probably. This is not a need. It is not high. It is not high on my hierarchy of needs. And so, and then time. Like, I still gotta work. I gotta make my products. I gotta, promote them. And since I haven't quite figured out how to do that with YouTube in a way that I think would be helpful, I don't do that here, really. Connecting with others is frustrating, because that's the other thing with the likes and the views and the comments. Like, we're not one-to-one. People have to come and watch your videos and leave a comment for me to know that you're open to having a conversation. But then again, we still have to take the conversation elsewhere. And that parasocial relationship thing, I'm the more cautious person in general, in-person social relationships. So parasocial, like, I'm watching these videos and people with bigger platforms are like, people are too pushy, they're in their DMs, and I'm like, oh, I could never DM someone. How do people have the balls? Because not me, or the uterus, the vagina, the vulva, to DM someone because you watch their videos. I could never. I am that person who definitely scrolls and scrolls and scrolls through your whole channel to make sure you don't have a video that answers my question. I will watch tons and tons and tons of your videos to answer my question before I ask it. So, like, I'm like, I don't know when it's like jump rope. Is this wrong, or should I not know? Like, because I don't really know this person. They definitely don't know me. So I talked about this with the other, like, booktube, tarot-tube. Like, it's the same thing. How do you make friends? Trying to be consistent is hard, because, again, these platforms, they reward you for that. Oh, you posted every week, you posted twice a week, and they put out the guides or whatever, and it's like, hey, you know who's winning? Those who post 3 times a week, and they have Monday, Wednesday, and Friday. They have a set schedule and they tell people I'm going to be posting on these days, and those are the days they post. Not me. Y'all, if I post once a week, that's my post once a week. And it took me all of this time to get to that point. And I still kind of beat myself up for not posting more than once a week. So I'm like, well, you have the content and you want to post all of this stuff. It's not going to go up all in one day. But maybe it should. It won't, because I don't have that kind of life. Having multiple focuses on my channel, I definitely get penalized for that. Because technically, what would be best for me is to have a separate booktube channel, to have a separate tarot tube channel, right? Probably to have a separate vlogging channel, right? I'm not doing it. I can't be bothered to keep up with 3 or 4 different channels. No. It's all here. It's all me. I'll be wearing the same outfits anyway. But I know that hurts me in the algorithm or whatever, because YouTube can't say, this is a witchy channel with only witchy things. And I know people who subscribe and then they see the next video is something different. It's not a book. It's not bookish content, or it's not tarot content. And they're like, oh wait, this is not what I thought it was. Exit out. 16. What is my opinion on monetization, paywalls, or other exclusive content? If you need or want to do it, go ahead. I understand how this works. Some people want to make this full-time job, and I think it's great that it's possible. I also am aware that, like some of the things I just said, you can't do it with just YouTube. I don't know who's not aware at this point, but most YouTubers are pretty transparent about the fact that YouTube itself pays pennies. Like, we like Spotify out here. They like Spotify. Like, 0.0035 cents for every video you put. That's some such nonsense. And you know, before, a lot of the YouTubers that are like millionaires or whatever, they've been on for so long, they kind of grandfathered in. They were, first of all, not niche pagan occult YouTubers, so that's already a check against us. Because how many people do come looking to YouTube for that? Because no, these are fake people. They're not really telling anything truthfully. They're making stuff up. They don't know any better. They haven't been doing it long enough. Yada, 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 yada. Right? So the real witches and occultists and all of that are going to in person. Right? So they don't come to YouTube. So that's already a check against us. Even in the real world, this is not a huge community. You know, we are not Christians, right? It's a small spiritual community, and then once you start looking at the, you know, witches are not all pagans, you know. Santeros are not hanging, coming here to look for witchy YouTube videos and whatnot. So again, strikes already, there's already less people watching or looking, and you got whether you're aesthetic enough and how many followers are you getting, I don't know, and then who's sponsoring you, other small YouTubers or pagan shops that have a small demographic as it is, and you know, usually mom and pop shops, so they don't have the budget, right? So then a lot of these the YouTubers and things like that, you're creatives, you're artists, so you create a Patreon or the YouTube membership. I don't even know, does YouTube take money from the membership? So there's that. And God, we all know that Uncle Sam comes to take his cut as well. taxes. So do what you gotta do if you can do it. I support when I can, when I'm interested. Yeah, I don't have a problem with it. I do kind of look sideways when that's like the first thing people go for. Like they just started their channel. It's like, okay, let me. It, as a viewer, doesn't feel good when you're like, oh, subscribe, 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 because that helps. And then, oh, check out my Patreon because that helps. But if you like the content enough, then sure. I know from other YouTube communities as well that the memberships, the Patreons, are not always about money either. Sometimes it's having a smaller protected space. When money is involved, people are less likely to be trolls and assholes, and also more likely to take what you do and what you're offering them seriously and not waste your time. So it weeds out a lot of the nonsense that regular YouTube comments and viewers put out there. And so to have a kind of safe space on the internet, the paywall helps. So it might not all 100% be about the money. It might be about creating a sacred space, in a sense, protecting their mental and emotional health from the bullshit. 17. Do you have any boundaries on this platform? Why or why not? I don't have a lot, but I don't give up my address. I know I talk about where I live. I'm in New York City because there's 8 million plus people in this thing. I ain't worried about it. The whole, this summer hot weather disclaimer, I'd be like, I'm on a main street and da-da-da-da-da-da. I'm not worried about that. I don't know what you're coming here for, but you ain't gonna find it if that's the case. But I don't give out my exact address. Y'all don't need to know. I do ask people if I'm gonna vlog, if they're okay with being in the video, and even if they've given permission before, I ask them again. If I'm in public, I try not to have people's faces that I don't know in the video clearly. I do not have the ability to blur strangers' faces, but I'm not with that whole taking pictures and videos of people that I see on the street without their permission. I don't ever explain everything for my readings. I'm not so much oh, this is private or whatever. I mean, there's some things I'm well, thankfully I don't explain. But honestly, it starts higher or lower than that. I just don't want to explain every card and then my thoughts. It's too much work. A big one, and I've kind of hinted at this several times, is I try not to do things I don't currently have the spoons or the bandwidth for. And that's something I had to learn how to do. That's a self-boundary. It's just you have so many ideas. I want to do them all right now. I mentioned a bunch of things I want to do that I haven't done yet on my channel. Pace yourself. Someday, maybe. One video a week. If I only do one video a week, that's good enough. That is more than good enough. If my vlogs are not super aesthetic, that's okay. It's natural. Right? It's better than nothing. Post the damn video. Okay. I guess another boundary is ignoring random trolls and religious comments. I don't get a lot of hate or anything, and it's usually just random shit. People who come into lives who just to troll and spam. People who comment with links, and that's probably bots, right? With links to R-rated, X-rated websites, or political things, and the occasional religious nut who comes in and is like, you gotta save your soul or whatever. I'm just like, I ain't got time for that. I'm a small YouTuber though, so it's not too crazy. Next question. 18. Do you have any current goals for your channel? I want to finish this Garden Arcana series. I want to upload videos kind of for deck studies that I have sitting, and these vlogs from last year that I have sitting here. I'm going to try to do this witchy, bookish vlog. We'll see. That's it. Maybe we 300 subscribers finally. 19. What are some mistakes you've made and how did you fix them? Oddly enough, with all of the overthinking and stressing and anxiety and imposter syndrome, I can't think of any mistakes. I'm sure I've made them. There's times when I am talking about another YouTuber and I say the wrong name. If I can, now that I have the ability, but earlier I didn't, I will put a voiceover. If I don't remember a name, which happens quite often, I'll write it on the screen. Before, I would just edit out that part where it would be like, oh shit, I don't remember their name. Or if I don't notice and it makes it through up to upload, well, it's to the gods. Not that they care. I hope no one was insulted. Things like getting my fingers in the camera or having shaky things happen, I will try to edit and adjust so that you don't see that. Once it's up there, for the most part, I don't watch it. I'm like, it's done. Moving on to the next video. That's what I think about with mistakes. Not like... The biggest mistake I've made was the same one I made with my business. Where it was like, well, anyone can start a business and anyone can upload on Etsy. Well, the same thing with YouTube. We talked about this. Thinking I'll upload and then the people will come. If you build it, they will come. No. Adjust expectations. That's what I did. I mean, I definitely probably cried about it and definitely worried and stressed and got overwhelmed and had burnout about it several times. I don't really look at the numbers. Like, the one I look at is subscribers, and not all the time. 20. What are some ways your channel has grown since your first video? Well, I have better cameras and tripods and things and editing software. I now do the bookish videos. That was not something I did in the beginning. It was just witchy, paganism, herbalism, well, not very much herbalism, and plan with me videos. Vlogs I didn't do. Now I do some vlogs. I've done tags, more tags now, and that helps with making friends and talking to people. Following people outside of YouTube help with that as well. So again, more people are subscribed. Joining live shows, live streams, read along. So like you talk to people regularly, so then they start noticing you and want to comment back, want to follow like your stuff. So that's how my channel has grown. I now have 241 subscribers when I had 0. And have you ever wanted to quit making videos? Why or why not? Yes. We're back to the imposter syndrome and the burnout being the main reasons. Like, why am I doing this? Again, I should need a real job. That's something bigger than just YouTube and Etsy shop. because now I have work and job trauma. It sounds kind of dramatic. That's why I'm saying it kind of blasé, because it is, or it was, and it isn't. Like, I've since learned I'm not the only one. It's not even anything unique or niche. I haven't. This is something I can fall back on. It is a creative outlet, an emotional outlet, or a mental outlet. Like I said, a lot of it has become like me expressing things that I want to express, talking about things I don't get to talk about regularly with people in regular life. So that becomes a fallback. Filming and editing becomes another thing that I can do with my day when I didn't get any Etsy orders for a week or two and I have no money. I can't go anywhere, but I have this and I can film something. And these wanting to quit, burnout, the overwhelm, the imposter syndrome doesn't last forever. And again, I guess I'm talking to myself. Future self, past self, current self. Remember this. It doesn't last forever. So, I'm actually quite surprised and proud that I'm still doing it. 22. What do you wish you knew before starting your YouTube channel journey? It's not easy. It is a visual medium and therefore rewards the more aesthetic and visual things, even though anyone can be on here. Reaching out to people, like, it is hard to make friends, but it's not impossible. And a lot of people are here for that. So, as far as equipment goes, you will always find something. Equipment and software. None of this is what I started out with. Most of this I have come across, or been given because something else broke or stopped working. I had a completely different laptop, and the screen separated from the keyboard, and like the cord basically got torn, and that's how I couldn't use that laptop anymore. I couldn't use the software that was on it anymore. I had to find something else. I don't go looking for upgrades and better stuff. Like, it's better for me, as far as that kind of thing goes, to like stay with what works. The obstacles will definitely be there. Everybody doesn't know what the hell they're doing. And everybody can't do what they want. So it'll get through it. 22, we're getting towards the end. What was that? 23. Do you post on any other platforms? If so, what are they? Yeah, I post on Instagram the most, and Facebook. They're the same company, so I schedule and it shares the same thing for the most part. Scarlet Moon Creations, Scarlet_Moon_Creations on Instagram, Scarlet Moon Creations on Facebook. I have my Etsy shop, Scarlet Moon Creates. I have Twitter. I mostly talk about music and BTS and books on Twitter, and random shit posting. So if you absolutely want to follow me there, the link is in my bio, I think, on my about page. And that's pretty much it. I have Pinterest too, though. I have Slack on there. 24. Do you have advice for those wishing to create a channel? Like, definitely put in some research about what you want to post and what you want that to look like, and what your expectations are versus what you are able to do. Try to manage your expectations. I know that's really easy to say and hard to do, but please try. Some of the things mentioned about having alternate sources of income, if that's a thing that you want to happen, like have a Patreon, be prepared to open a YouTube membership or an Etsy shop or Redbubble or something, whatever your other creative outlet is, to help you do YouTube full time. Don't come in here expecting everybody to be your friend, and also don't be an asshole. Don't be a dick. Don't be a know-it-all. Don't be somebody who feels like whoever is already on here with their magical practice is not doing it well enough. And don't feel like what you have to say is not relevant because there are people on here with a similar magical or spiritual practice to yours that already has thousands of subscribers or something. Comparing is hard not to do, but I would say don't do it to your detriment, if that makes sense. But from what I just said, yeah, you can watch videos like this where people talk about the software and supplies that they have, the experiences that they have, and try not to have a pessimistic point of view for this. I've seen some people talk about, well, I was expecting, for religious people to really come at me on here, and then they haven't, and it's been like your own communities supposedly. I'm like, is that really community? But keep trying. One thing I think about making friends is we're going through similar things, so you could talk about it when it's happening, like when you're feeling the imposter syndrome or when you're feeling burnt out. You have somebody who's also a YouTuber or a content creator to discuss that with, and I think that has helped me. Who will I tag in this video? I think I'm gonna tag Jessica and the Moon because maybe she'll do this. Maybe Afura Nefertiti, the writing witch. I'll tag you as well. Guys, that is the end of the tag. Finally, this is an hour and a half long because I don't know how to shut up, but like this video. If you like this, subscribe. If you are new, hit the notification bell so you know when the next video is coming. Links in the description to Starlight original video, and all of the questions will be down there. Links to all of my social media accounts if you'd like to follow me anywhere else, and my Etsy shop where I also have a 10% off discount code. YouTube Witches, you guys only have this discount code. I make all natural bath and body products, as well as offer tarot and oracle card readings. So those are down below. Guys, as always, thank you so much for watching. I'll see you in the next video. Bye.